This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. 2 powerful earthquakes rock central Italy, causing damage to historic buildings but no deaths. Cheers to National Beer Day, drink up and be safe. And the Lakers begin the post-Kobe era with an exciting win.
Hello, I'm Itzya Freyre.
And I'm Joselynn Castro. Aftershocks are still running through Italy after 2 powerful earthquakes hit late last night. Both earthquakes were centered near the town of Viso, measured at a 5.5 magnitude and a 6.1 aftershock. Reports indicate that there have been no serious injuries attributed to the earthquakes. Many residents slept in their cars overnight after the second quake, and others left for shelter. Many houses collapsed, including a historical church. With winter approaching and low temperatures, officials are scrambling to find temporary housing for those who have been displaced.
Protesters who were injured in last week's demonstration in the Philippines are now suing 10 cops. One of the officers allegedly drove a police van through the crowd of protesters. 9 others are also being charged with attempted murder, abuse of authority, and unlawful arrest. The demonstrations began after President Rodrigo Duterte denounced the United States, the UN, and the European Union for criticizing his war on drugs that has left thousands of drug dealers and drug addicts dead. The protests continued in Manila, where over 3,000 activists and indigenous people pressed for the right to self-determination. The protest is also calling for American troops to leave.
Protesters filled the streets of Caracas, Venezuela, pushing for President Nicolás Maduro to get out of office. Hundreds of thousands demonstrated in the capital city to demand a presidential recall vote. More than 100 demonstrators were hurt and 147 were arrested. At one demonstration, a police officer was shot and killed. The Venezuelan protests began in 2014 due to high violence and the division between the wealthy and the poor. Citizens blame Maduro for food lines and triple-digit inflation in the entire country. Maduro's presidential term is set to end in 2019, but if there is potential for a vote recall in the coming year, his time in office will be cut short.
The EU is launching an aid program aimed at keeping Syrian refugees leaving Turkey for Europe. It's called the Kızılay card, a debit card used to buy food, medicine, or any family needs. The new project will not be limited to refugees in the camps, but will also include those who are outside camps, an even greater number. The cards can be taken to any ATM for cash, 100 Turkish lira a month, or 30 for each registered family member. The program is being launched by the Turkish Red Crescent and the United Nations World Food. It aims to help the estimated 3 million refugees not to just survive, but to have a bit of control of their lives.
In Iraq, some reports are saying that ISIS militants are forcing civilians to relocate to Mosul to be used as human shields. ISIS fighters are reportedly going into homes and towns south of Mosul, threatening civilians with death. Iraqi troops continue to advance, taking back villages around Mosul. Iraq has been preparing to take back the ISIS-held territory for the last 2 years. UN officials say they are struggling to build shelters for the millions of displaced people. They hope to get as many civilians in safe zones before the fight begins in the coming weeks.
A new poll shows majority of California is ready to legalize the recreational use of marijuana. The Public Policy Institute of California found that 2/3 of registered Democrats are voting yes to legalizing marijuana. But almost many registered Republicans say they are opposed. People who have participated in the poll were asked if they have ever tried marijuana and if they've used it in the past year. 18% say they have tried marijuana and have used it in the last year. 25% said they have tried it but not in the past year.
With 11 days left until we vote for our next president, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are heading to swing states to get votes. Both presidential candidates are set to make appearances in Nevada and Florida. Clinton has not finished her 2-day swing in Florida and says she will be back this weekend. She's appearing with First Lady Michelle Obama in North Carolina this morning. As for Trump, he continues to try to shore up his Republican support and improve his stand with the Hispanic voters. Trump is also trying to keep Nevada competitive all the way through Election Day.
Now, let's go to Jacob Gonzalez for the latest in sports.
Thank you, Itzya. The World Series is now tied at 1 game apiece as the Chicago Cubs secure a win. Members of the Cleveland Cavaliers attended Game 2 of the World Series in hopes for their city to raise 2 banners in 1 year. However, Chicago was quick to score in the top of the first with an RBI from Anthony Rizzo. This is the first time the Cubs scored in a World Series since 1945. Kyle Schwarber led Chicago's offense, going 3 for 4 with 1 run and 2 RBIs in the bottom of the 6th. Cleveland was finally able to get on the board from a wild pitch from Chicago's pitcher Arrieta. Cubs cruised to a 5-1 victory before heading home for a Game 3 on Friday. The Los Angeles Lakers start their season with a 120-114 win against the Houston Rockets. Rockets shooting guard James Harden still managed to pour in 34 points and rack up 17 assists. Harden gave the Rockets a quick early start in the first. Jordan Clarkson was able to counter Harden's performance by scoring 23 of his 25 points in the second half. Clarkson put the Lakers up by 4 late in the fourth by drilling a deep 3. The Lakers secured their victory with a steal by Clarkson with about a minute left in the fourth. Lakers sophomore D'Angelo Russell also added 20 points in the Lakers' home win. The Lakers play again on Friday against the Utah Jazz. The Lakers started off in their strong first game, and students had a lot to say about it. Here's Matador news reporter Francisco Castanon with more.
Thanks, Jacob. With the start off of a new season, Lakers are starting off strong, coming in with a 6-point lead over the Houston Rockets.
Lakers are a really fun team to watch. I saw the Houston game last night, and I'm really excited for this season.
But I feel like once they get it all together, once they get the rotation right, it should be good. They got Ingram, they got Clarkson coming off the bench. Now he scored like 25 points yesterday, so he did good too. They got a good coach, and I feel like if they keep it up, they might make the playoffs. They might.
I think it was a good start this season. It's a young team, so getting everything together right off the bat, like we're all coming together, getting a win against a pretty decent team like the Rockets. I think it's a good start to the season.
It'll be harder for him, definitely, but I feel like with new talent, he definitely has room to build the program, especially with Kobe being gone. He has a lot of room to grow as a team, as a franchise, and I feel like he's definitely going to succeed this year, especially with last night's win against the Rockets.
With a new era underway, the Lakers will continue to put it all out on the court. The Lakers look to continue their winning streak over the Utah Jazz tomorrow. Now let's go back to Diego with the latest in entertainment.
Thanks, Francisco. The man who destroyed Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is now in LAPD custody. Yesterday morning, Jamie Otis destroyed the star on camera using a sledgehammer and pickaxe. Otis says he defaced the star for his relatives who are sexual assault survivors.
4 or 5 family members sexually assaulted. I'm terribly upset that we have a presidential nominee who's become sort of the poster child for sexual violence.
He says he intended to auction the star and give the money to women accusing Trump of assaulting them. Otis is likely to face a felony vandalism charge of over $2,000. A new accuser has come forward claiming that Michael Jackson assaulted her. The alleged victim, known as Jane Doe, is saying Jackson molested her when she was 12. She claims she was paid close to $1 million to keep quiet about the abuse. The accuser says Jackson's production company were a ploy for potential victims to be molested. Representatives from Jackson's estate have denied the allegations, saying they come without merit. The pop star died in 2009. He faced charges of abuse while alive but was never convicted. Now let's go to Jacob with updates on science and health.
A new reporter says U.S. students are lacking a grasp on science. The 2015 National Assessment of Education process showed only about 30% of 4th and 8th graders had a strong academic performance in science. The problem is particularly serious among the nation's high school seniors. Among 12th graders, just 1 in 5 were proficient or above in science. High school seniors' average score was up 150 points out of 300. For 4th graders, the overall average score was also about 50%. The nation's report card is the largest national representative continuous assessment of what American students know and don't know in various subjects. The FDA has approved the lung cancer treatment drug Keytruda. Keytruda was tested on 305 lung cancer patients who had never been treated before back in June. Researchers say it is so effective that they wanted to make it more available. The drug helps patients live longer without their tumors growing or spreading. Keytruda can now be a first treatment option instead of chemotherapy for patients with small cell lung cancer. Now let's go back to Diego with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jacob. Twitter is planning on cutting 350 more jobs in an attempt to save money. The company is cutting 9% of the workforce to seem more profitable to potential buyers. Twitter's revenue went up 8% from last year, but the social media company has not been able to attract a buyer. The chief executive, Jack Dorsey, says he's making the necessary changes to help grow the company. Twitter has also seen an increase in users by 3% from last year, and Dorsey says he remains confident for Twitter's future. Toyota says it's recalling about 6 million more vehicles in Europe and Asia because of faulty airbags. They say their Takata airbags can be deadly. Takata airbags are dangerous because their inflators can rupture on impact. This can cause drivers to be injured or killed by metal debris. Toyota has now recalled more than 23 million of their vehicles that have faulty airbags. Takata has been blamed for 16 deaths worldwide. Ford is also recalling 30,000 SUVs because of fuel leaks. These vehicles include the Ford Escape and Mercury Mariner. In other automotive news, Tesla turned a profit for the first time in 3 years. The company says it sold over 25,000 cars in the last fiscal quarter. Halloween is one of the most commercialized holidays. Let's head over to the newsroom with Nate Ramirez-Graham for the latest in Halloween.
Thanks, Diego. Harley Quinn, the Joker, and clowns, just a few of the most popular costumes as Halloween season approaches. Total spending for Halloween this year is expected to reach around $8.4 billion in revenue, topping last year's total revenue of $7.4 billion. Halloween pop-up stores like the Spirit store on Reseda are becoming more popular. These stores are filled with not only costumes, but also decorations, creepy props, and of course, Donald Trump masks. We asked some CSUN students what their plans were for Halloween this year.
Halloween party at church. Saturday, I'm going to Disneyland, dressed as a costume. And then Monday, who knows? I might go trick-or-treating.
I'm going to be Psylocke from X-Men. I made that costume like a couple of years ago.
I want to be a Mormon. So wear like the bicycle helmet and like basically wear like sunglasses and a white dress shirt, black tie, slacks.
Unfortunately, Halloween lands on a Monday this year, so you might want to go to bed early so you won't wake up looking like a zombie on Tuesday. Rain is on the way. Let's see if it'll stay around for Halloween. Here's Itzya with the weather.
Southern California is in for a storm. Storm systems are expecting potential flash floods and mudslides. Los Angeles and Orange County will mostly have cloudy skies with late night rainfall Thursday. Beaches will see late rain and western swells creating 4-foot breakers. Mountain and deserts will only have partly cloudy skies and a chance of rain. The flash floods will be issued until Friday afternoon. The weekend is expected to return to upper 70-degree weather with partly cloudy skies.
If you're 21 or older, you can crack a cold one and celebrate National American Beer Day. The U.S. Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau says the U.S. beer industry sold 206.7 million barrels of beer. The industry wants to educate people about the brewing process and show how much the industry has grown. California is the only state with 11 permitted breweries. So, take the time to show some respect to your country and one of the oldest industries and drink American beer, but drive safely.
Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Itzya Freyre.
I'm Joselynn Castro.
I'm Diego Girgado.
And I'm Jacob Gonzalez.